So this is Ben and I playing. I'm on the vampire counts. I brought Vlad von Karstein because he's super tanky, and I thought there would be some arrow sniping stuff going on. I brought a vampire deathcaster, Stearnsman, the ROR graveguard that regenerates, a whole bunch of skeleton warriors. Those are sword and shield. These are spear and shield. 3 zombies, and 2 black knights and 2 blood knights, and a Vargoth. Now the plan here was to just move forward, tank as much damage as I could with my lord, and just harass his backline with the cavalry and the Vargoth. Basically, just too many expensive targets for him to focus down. The one thing that I didn't count on is his big flying goon squad, which he brought 2 Hawk Riders, the sisters on their dragon, and a spell singer on an eagle. So basically, I have nothing to even damage them, minus Spirit Leech through the Vampire of Death, which I've already done one. It did pretty good damage, but he's also now, because of all that, he's kind of lacking in infantry. So I see his cavalry over here, and I'm like, oh, I'll try to finish them off real quick. So I charge in the Blood Knights, who are clearly going to win that. But then I had these other Black Knights I was going to run up and around, but then I got distracted elsewhere. On this side, I'm moving up Black Knights over on the flank. Zombies are just engaging the front, just there to kind of tank. And at this point, I see blood in the water, and I'm going for his archers. The Vargoth ran straight into the archers, but then got surrounded by spears, which is not where it wants to be. But right now, it's letting me get everything else with my Blood Knights and my Black Knights. He charges in his Wildwood Rangers, which are going to get mulched pretty good against my cavalry. And at this point, I'm just getting the rest of my units into combat. So he brought in 2 Glaive Guard, these Wildwood Rangers, a bunch of spears, Wild Riders with shields, and the Sisters of Sisters of Twilight. I think this was kind of a miscast, but actually I think it hits my cavalry, and this is one of those spells that does damage if you stay in it for a long time, but otherwise it's not that bad. Again, I'm kind of wasting Vlad right here. He's just sitting here fighting these spears. He really should be in amongst more elite troops, but there's really only the Wildwood Rangers that you can reach. And all I'm doing is basically spamming zombie summons and healing with him. The Deathcaster's my real, this is my magic to damage things. So yeah, all of his flying units, the only thing I can do is Spirit Leech them. So I'm just hoping that I have enough to kill everything on the ground so that he has to come down. And actually, both his Hawk Riders are almost out of ammo, so that's good. The sisters still have half theirs. And he dives down onto my Vargoth with his Spellsinger, which is probably not a very good idea, though he's crumbling. The Vargoth is crumbling. The nice thing about the Vargoth is it actually regenerates, so I just have to get it out of combat. It gets its leadership back and starts healing again. Vlad is taking a lot of damage, but you see he's already kind of getting close to his healing cap, which means he's been tanking a lot of damage, leaving my Vampire Death to be perfectly healthy. And also my cap has been getting kind of messed up. I haven't been microing him that well. But I see his Hawk Riders land on the ground against my Black Knights, so I jump in with my last few Blood Knights here, and the Vargoth immediately terrify off one of the Hawk Riders, and the other is getting pretty mulched, and I start bringing down the skeletons, spears, but they're not going to get there before, they rout off, or terrified. So basically, it starts to devolve into just a big blob fight. Vlad is super close to dying, and so I'm just trying to get off the everything I can, use what magic I can. The Hawk Riders are coming back. They're going to continue to be kind of an annoyance because they good armor piercing, because they're flying units. They always get the charge. I do Master of Beguilement here just to try to get these spearmen to break, and as well as rear charging him. So I have a whole lot of infantry left, and he doesn't have much on the ground. So it's getting to the point where he has to drop in with his flying units. Which, unless he's out of magic, I don't know if I would be using the Spell Singer to do so. I'm also sending the Bargoth off to fight like anything spear-wise, any infantry that's kind of coming back, because I don't really want them to join this blob fight, but unfortunately he just kept passing him past the Bargoth, but now they're getting attacked in the rear penalty. Nice breath attack there by the dragon. This one Black Knight's the only thing I've got, cavalry I've got left. That's actually, it's the only cavalry I've got left, but it's doing really well. It's got enough health. I should have attacked the Spell Singer there, and actually I think I start charging those spears then to help out the Bargoth, make sure it's not just getting the anti-large of the spears to kill it. At this point, my Lord Lod is just about dead. I mean, those Hawks are going to finish him off. The Bargoth finishes or routes those spears again, and at this point I see a Spell Singer again, and I'm like, oh, need to get on him. But the Spell Singer gets up in the air. I Spirit Leech, and yeah, at this point I realized that the blob was not doing good for me because of the arrows and the breath attacks, so I start to spread out, which leaves the Bargoth a little bit alone, and it starts taking some massive damage from those charges. But again, this is, now I see the Spell Singer on the ground, and I start bringing in the cavalry to try and keep it on the ground. And now it's like completely surrounded, and so are these Hawk Riders. Hawk Riders are pretty squishy, so if they get surrounded, they're not going to last very long. You see the Spell Singer starts to waver. And at this point, his only... Oh, what are those? Skeleton Warriors, although I forgot they were out there. These Spearmen are his last ground unit, so... And luckily I still have this Vampire of Death. Despite being a caster, she's actually pretty, she can hit pretty hard. The Bargoth goes down, and now it's basically just keep the dragon on the ground and finish the fight. So I'll fast forward here. It's still pretty even, but that's because of how healthy the sisters are. But she's just going to keep getting dragged down. They're going to keep getting dragged down because of the spears and the Vampire of Death, who's a pretty good combatant. Getting rear charged by these spears for the cavalry, which isn't good. And it looks like pretty much as soon as like everything starts to like crumble away for me, then he gets army lost, which is pretty good for me. So yeah, I completely didn't even consider the flying Goon Squad, which was a mistake, because as the vampires I could have definitely have brought enough to win that. Like Manfred on a dragon, the Blood Dragon Lord would have done real well there. Yeah, and then just a couple of bats would have been helpful there. But I went with a very mobile and expensive, hard-hitting army here with the cavalry. The nice thing about the Blood Knights is they have a lot of armor. They also have missile resist of like 20%. And of course then you can keep healing them, which I got a few heals off on them, but I didn't use them to the best of their ability. So let's see, the one Black Knight didn't pay for itself. This Black Knight, just about tripled. No, maybe doubled. This Black Knight did okay. Definitely paid for itself. This one, Vargoff did well. Vlad did not, but he just tanked. That's what he was there for. He was kind of like, I think his hawks were shooting at him the whole time. Either the hawks or the sisters were. Um, Vampire Death 3100. Of course, all the damage on the flying units was, in the first half of this match was basically her. Zombies didn't do anything, just held. The skeleton warriors just held. This is the one that ended up on the other side of the map. Wow, 1200 on a spear unit, can't beat that. Stearnsmen, again, should have gotten more out of them, but at least they just kind of tanked. Let's see, his sisters did amazing. That was all shooting at Vlad and shooting at my cavalry, like very expensive units. Um, it's also inflated because the vampires heal. And actually, the Spell Singer of Life doing 2100 is pretty epic. See, and then spears were just holding. Yeah, he didn't even bring the shield because he was trying to save money because these two and the Hawk Riders are expensive. Wildwood Riders did, or the Wildwood Rangers did okay. I don't even know if I saw these spears, but I shut down his archers like right away. It's a good thing for him that he didn't bring more archers because that would have been even worse for him.